Hello, we are going to be stitching these beautiful buntings today, and you'll notice on your pattern that each one is a little bit different. So please refer to the instructions so you can see if there's any variations from what I'm going to talk about now. This is the one we're going to do today on camera. So they all have a gray beak, and we're using a single strand for all of this stitching, by the way. So the beak is just going to be some satin stitch. You might, I'm realizing I can't really see what I'm doing very well. You might need to wear your glasses for this one, or you could always blow up the design and make it larger as well. Okay, that's my beak, I think, almost. They kind of look that, oh my goodness, if you look at your diagrams, they all kind of have this little diamond shape. I don't even know if you can see that. Let's see, now I need the black, and we're gonna do basically like underline the beak here. And then we have this kind of mask area that we're going to fill in. And I don't know, depending, it might look like satin stitch to you. It might look like split stitch to you, depending on how big your stitches are. Since we're using black, no one's really going to be able to see what the stitches look like. So I'm just kind of doing the outline of that mask first, and I'm also going to outline the beak on the inside where it touches the head. So that would be like here. And then something like here. Also, if you want, you could always do this black first and then do the gray on top to do the beak. So now I'm going to kind of fill in this shape I just created. And see, it's so very tiny. I have a little fuzz here. It's bugging me. Okay. I think we're okay. Not that I can see if we're okay. What is this? Okay, we're going to keep going rather than have me get caught up on that. All right. So next we're going to use the blue, which is going to be much easier. This part's like the hardest, right? Doing that beak and the mask, because it's just so very tiny. But, oops, excuse me. It's, you know, a blob and another blob. Sure. Okay, so now I'm going to use this bright blue and coming up. I'll come up here. I do have like a hair or something. Okay. So I'm going to outline my shape first. You don't have to, but in my case, I don't have the official guidelines on here because I'm making it up as I go a little bit. So this is some split stitch I'm using. I guess it's technically back split stitch since I'm coming up and then going back into the previous. And you'll notice, yes, this is a single strand of thread, but you can actually split a single strand of thread each itty bitty single strand. No, I did not split it. Each itty bitty. Okay. Sorry, I definitely couldn't do that while talking. Each single ply is made of 2 indivisible strands. Not that it's easy to do that. Okay. And then here. If you want, you could even outline the black, like kind of what we did to outline the gray. I'm just going to go ahead and start filling with satin stitch here. This is one of those projects where a really tiny needle does come in handy. Trying to fill in that little hole I made. Okay, etc. So when we're on this kind of edge, it's a little trickier, right? Because we can't fill that shape. I mean, I guess we could fill that shape with satin stitch, but as we get up over the head, it kind of turns into more split stitch. It's already looking more like a bird, right? I think. Oh, so I was gonna say, this is very teeny tiny detailed work, but technically there's no like long and short stitch thread painting in this project. You can definitely use long and short stitch between the like color blocks on the bird. I would say especially between the orange and the white on the breast of the birds. Otherwise, I think these birds do have a pretty distinct, block to each color where we wouldn't necessarily want to blend. But I would encourage you to look at pictures of birds, these birds specifically, to see if that'd be something you'd be interested in doing if you're a big fan. Let's see. I think we're good here. So while I have this blue, we'll go ahead and there's like a little shoulder patch right here. And on purpose, I have it as a separate like shape, right? So we will have this kind of designation between the head and the shoulder. So that's one side of it. Here's the other side of it. I'm leaving really big gaps, which is fine. I will come back and fill them in. The way I have my filling set up is my camera is closer, or I guess about the same distance to the hoop as I am, but it's zoomed in, and my eyeballs are not. And I definitely need reading glasses. So you, my friends, can see all my mistakes that I don't even know I'm making. How fun. Okay, I'm just filling in those little gaps. And then, if we want, we can do the tail now. We already have the blue going on, so let's see. So here's my wing. It's going to be here, and the tail is going to be like this. So, you could just do it all in satin stitch here, just like a really long satin stitch. But I am going to do split stitch. So again, I'll do an outline first. You don't have to, but for this example, it's important because that way I know where I'm going. If you have the printed fabric, you'll have the birds on your fabric. If you are using your own fabric and transferring the design, I commend you. Oopsies, tangled up a little bit. Just because it's a lot of detail with the birds. Like each one has so many little details, so it's a little tricky, but not impossible. Just looking for any holes. Can't tell if that's a hole or if that's some black thread that got pulled up there, but either way, we're gonna just erase it like this. And then what is here? Looks like I need another stitch right here. Something like that. I'm adding another stitch. Am I? I don't know. I think we're okay. All right, I'm gonna cut this blue. I'm done with the blue for now. I'm actually gonna go out of order a little bit, simply because I want to get these threads out of my way. So this, I'm just gonna add a little highlight on the eye with the gray right here. Looks like I already kind of had a hole there, so that made it easy. All right, and then I'm just gonna pull up here because we'll do the legs, but for now I'm just gonna park that so it's a bit out of my way. And then let's see, now we want, well, let's do the chest, right? I was trying to figure that out in the instructions, like, is it a bird chest or a bird breast? Because I kept thinking of like chicken, because it'd be chicken breast, but these aren't chickens. Anyways. Oh, this is not good. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. The thread I had gotten ready had a big knot in it. So we have this fun orangey color. And we will use this color to fill the patch here. Do your best with these little sections, right? Whether it's satin stitch or if you need to change to split stitch in the larger sections. But where two sections meet, do your best to use the same holes. I mean, I don't know if that's possible to confirm, but that's the ideal, I guess, to make sure we're that tight with the previous row, I guess you could call it, so that there's no fabric showing through. Oops, sorry. Hi, blue thread. Welcome back. I feel silly. I just realized my instructions, they have doing the birds last. And of course, here I am in the video doing the birds first. So please, please do the branches first. It's just a simple split stitch. And I made mine really, really tiny to kind of have a consistent texture throughout the whole thing. The flowers, you can do those before the birds or after the birds. I'm going to do those after, since we can get the hard part out of the way, doing the birds first. All right, so I'm just looking for any holes. I'm going to add one more stitch here. And then I don't think there's a hole, but there's kind of like a depression right here. I'm going to try to fill it in. I don't know if that made it better or not. I like to push up from below to kind of help me see if there is a gap. It'll be easier to see when you do that. All right, I'm just tying this off. And we'll move on to the white, or I guess it's off-white. So we're going to fill the whole front side of the bird with this color. And I'm basically going to do the same thing. I'm just going to do an outline with split stitch. And then fill it in. You'll note that some of the birds, let's see, 2 of the birds have a tail that either overlaps or underlaps. I don't know if that's a word. The branch, it's up to you if you like it the way I did it, or if you want to swap them as far as which tail is going over the branch, which tail is going under the branch. There's also the one bird that's a little different from the rest that is mostly forward facing, so you just have like a little peak of the wings on either side. And that one, you'll definitely want it to look like it's behind the branch with its claws popping up over. All right, I went ahead and filled in the rest of that shape. I'm going to do the spot on the wings now, the patch on the wings. You'll notice that all the other pieces of the bird, we've kind of maintained a stitch direction like down from the head, right? So if you want, you can continue that. For the bars on the wings, they're pretty small shapes, so I definitely think it's okay to fake it. And so I'm going to do stitch direction like this simply because it's easier. And these little sections are so tiny that I'm not sure who will notice that it's different. Right, something like that. Okay, and then I need my black again. Here we go. Now we're going to do the same thing with black. So now that I see it, I feel like that looks weird. But I don't know if I'm going to cut it out or not. I'm going to think about that. For the black one, I'm not nearly as worried just because black, it's so hard to see the stitch direction of. So I can do whatever I want, really. just fill the shape. Okay, I'm gonna just bring my needle up here so it's out of the way because we're gonna need that. All right, now I'm gonna go back to my gray and fill in the rest of this wing. Oh, I'm already out, so we're gonna do half a leg while we're here. Okay, so the wing, there's like enough of a shape here to probably fill a split. Okay, something like this, I think. I'm gonna actually make it a little bit bigger here on this edge. Okay, so now the fun little last details. So we're gonna have this black and we're gonna do an outline. Actually, we should do the white first. Okay, the white is gonna come up here and be just below that black patch. And it's just like a split stitch line that goes here. Oh my goodness, that's a slippery needle, huh? Right, something like that. I think that works. And then the black, again, same kind of thing as a split stitch. It's gonna outline this wing. Like so, and also outline along the bottom of the tail. And we're almost done with our bird. this point, it's good to just go back and see if there's any fabric showing through anywhere, if you need to fill in any gaps. And of course, we have our legs here. So I just made the legs with straight stitches. Same with the claws, up to you where you want to put the claws, if you want them overlapping on the branch, or just skip the claws and just do the legs, make it simpler. Something like that. Yeah? Awesome. Okay, now we get to do the flowers. Fun, fun. So you'll notice that on the fabric and on the template, only some of the flowers are indicated. So the template and the fabric don't exist yet. So I'm going to fake it. So we'll do, we have like bigger flowers. So this is a lazy daisy. And you see those shapes? Either 5 or 6 petals. And all of these flowers are super duper duper tiny. So I'm using 3 strands here. If you find that that's too much, you can, oh, that was real sad. Here we go. You can definitely use fewer strands of floss. And of course, the floss is variegated. If you do not have variegated floss, just pick whatever you like. This has purples and magentas and hot pinks and like a kind of a lavender, if you want to stick to the colors I used. Also, speaking of colors, if you're not into the branch being this kind of weird color that's not really natural, I liked it because it was neutral and kind of, I don't know, it helps the birds stand out more, you know. But you can definitely go with a brown or a more gray color for the branches. You could do these flowers with like your scrap threads if you want. And I don't pay too much attention to what color is happening when I stitch using this variegated thread. It's going to change. If there are parts of it you don't like, you can definitely cut them out, or just, I don't know, you can try to work against it. I just go with it, you know. It's kind of fun to see it come to life, and you know, just let fate decide. Okay, so this flower is going to be the French knot one. So if you've never done a French knot, we're going to do a single wrap. It's easier. Go down near where we just came up, pull to the left to get that knot at the base there, touching the fabric, and then we pull through. So I have a center knot, and then I come in and do 6 around the center, or however many fit. Oh, and you'll notice there's like a hole in the middle of the pattern. You can just leave it. You could add more flowers. You could add text. Uh-oh. Oh, phew. That was a close one. I thought I was going to have to cut that out. So the other flowers that are indicated on the fabric are going to be like the triplets of the attached chain stitches. So it's basically like half a lazy daisy. So those are the three main flowers that are going to be indicated on the template and the fabric. If you are transferring yourself, you don't even have to transfer the flowers to your fabric if you don't want to, if you want to just improvise them all. Because it is, I guess, it depends on how you're transferring. Like if you're tracing, it's probably not going to be so much fun to trace all that. Okay, so then once you've done the big ones, then you can come in and fill with other things. So we can do like a single French knot by its lonesome. We can do little like triplets of French knots. You can add as many of these little flowers or as few as you like. And we're also going to put in these itty bitty tiny flowers with straight stitch petals. So this one is going to be slightly overlapping the branch because that's just fun. And you can just do as many of those as you like. So to finish, we're just going to add little leaves using a full strand of the green, and we're just adding these teeny little flower, or what are these, leaves. So for those little triple, I don't know, half flowers I was talking about, I like to do like a leaf on either side of those. Like it's a flower turned away from us, you know, or to the side. A profile view. There we go. So I like to do that. And then I just kind of come in and add them wherever I want. And you can have them like overlapping branch like that, and you can even have them like coming off the branch, not even attached to a flower. So I pulled up something weird. There we go. Etc. So add as many of those as you like. Same with the flowers. I mean, you can really go wild with them if you want, or not. Keep it simple. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything else except to have fun, and feel free to email me if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help. And I hope you have a good time.